In addition to an offensive tackle, the Niners have to sign a wide receiver. They only have 4 on their roster. Ayuk, Debo, Jawan Jennings, and Ray McLeod, who's a gadget player. He might as well be a running back or a special teams guy. I don't know how much they're going to throw to Ray McLeod. So they need multiple wide receivers. It's a excellent deep class in the draft. The Niners clearly need to take advantage. But even if they take a guy in round 3 and he's talented and can become a starter one day, he may not be a big contributor on a contender as a rookie. So in case he's not, happens all the time. And it's hard to tell which wide receivers are going to be good right away, which ones aren't. It's kind of hard to tell. The Niners could sign a guy. And I think it's pretty clear the kind of wide receiver they're looking for, deep threat, the kind of guy that would not fit with Jimmy Garoppolo, the kind of guy that would average 20 yards a catch, that would get like 2 targets, 1 catch, 70 yards, touchdown. That's his contribution to the game. And they've been rumored to be interested in Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He'd be perfect. He's exactly the kind of guy who would complement the wide receivers they already have and Trey Lance's skill set. There's no freaking way they're getting Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I would be so shocked. They're not going to go out and spend money on another starter. I don't see it. That's a number 2 wide receiver in the league. If he goes back to Green Bay, he's their number 1 wide receiver. And Green Bay's interested in him. They just lost Devontae Adams. So you're really going to make a pitch to Valdez-Scantling? Like, hey, forget Green Bay. Come over here. You'll get more targets over here. Really? I don't see it. The Niners are going to go cheap at wide receiver. I don't think they're going to sign another starter this year. They need a starting offensive tackle, a starting left guard, a starting nickel back, a starting strong safety. I think a starting wide receiver, too, considering the fact that Debo is now a running back. A starting caliber wide receiver, especially if you want to go 3 wide receiver sets with Trey Lance and the spread option. Why not? But no Marquez Valdez-Scantling. They're going to get some guy. Here's what they're going to do. Remember in 2017 when they signed Marquise Goodwin and made a big deal about it? They're like, oh, in Kyle's offense, oh, what a steal. He's so fast. They just don't know how to use him. He's gonna be great. They're going to get the next Marquise Goodwin. So who's that going to be? Someone who's like 26, 27, had a rough go of it in the NFL, but been on bad teams, maybe had some injury issues, super fast. Someone that if you get, doesn't have to start in the Niners, but give him 30 targets, maybe he'll get 4 or 5 long plays, couple touchdowns. Who is that? Probably like John Ross. John Ross is who the Niners are probably going to sign at wide receiver. He gets hurt every year, ran a 4.22 famously at the combine. I loved him coming out of Washington, but hurt all the time. But last year, had a good year. On the Giants, he didn't catch a bunch of passes, but when he was targeted, his the Giants quarterback rating was over 110. So Kyle can be like, look, I think there's something there. I liked him coming out. He was on bad teams in Cincinnati. Finally had a little bit of success last year. You bring him here and make him like a 5th option in our offense. With that speed, you'll have to honor it. Everyone's going to be so focused on Kittle, Ayuk, Debo that I can get him wide open down the field. He'll be great. I'll turn him into something, which, he probably won't. But that's what I think they're going to do. They're going to sign someone like John Ross and say, he was a 1st-round pick. What a huge signing. Super Bowl, John Ross, and Ray McLeod. I'm sorry. Marquez Valdez-Scantling would be a phenomenal signing. But, they're not going to sign anyone like him. They're not going to sign Zadarius Smith. They got to save all their money for Debo and Nick Bosa. They got to count. They got to look at the future. You can't mortgage the future. Sure, they're a couple of plays away from the Super Bowl right now, but what about the future? The Niners, it's more important to be the 6th best team for a long time than to win a Super Bowl. Did you know that? According to the 49ers front office and ownership group, it seems that they feel being one of the best teams consistently is better than making that push and winning a Super Bowl. Maybe that's why they have never won a Super Bowl. Maybe that's why. Because they don't know what it takes. They're afraid of what it takes. They're comfortable doing business as usual in the present, no matter what the circumstances are, and planning ahead. Just keep planning ahead. Steve says, Grant, you're right. Rams sitting here spending up to the cap, and we're sitting here waiting till when to pay Bosa and Samuel? Painful. Yeah, and that's why I'm talking about it. Like, I feel like fans should be aware of what's happening, and they should be pissed Come on. You should be putting pressure. It's like how when you don't like something that's happening in your neighborhood, you call your congressperson and be like, yo, what's up with the crime? What happened? What's up with the schools? Yo, you should be putting pressure on Jed, Parag, John. Like, what is going on? We're fans and we're faithful, but we're not stupid. We can see exactly what you're doing and you're messing it up. And I bet you players in your locker room see it too. Make the push. You were in the NFC freaking championship game last year. You lost to a team that you'd beaten 6 times in a row before then. Make a move. I mean, have they even really improved special teams? Like, yeah, they brought in Ray McLeod, Oren Burks, George Odom. They lost Trent Sherfield and Trenton Cannon. Trent Cannon was a hell of a special teams player. Forget his returning. He is a hell of a gunner. He had like 7 tackles in 11 games with the Niners last year. Really good. Gone. Sherfield, really good gunner. Gone. And Mostert doesn't really play special teams anymore, but could. So, yeah, I mean, they lost game 3. I mean, 6 one, half dozen on the other. They might have gotten better on special teams. I don't know. But they got better at one cornerback spot, but they got worse in the offensive line, at safety, at nickel, at nose tackle. I don't know, man. I don't know. This feels like 2020. It feels like 2020. Niners are afraid that Jimmy will need to compete for a starting spot and most likely get beaten by a third string, which will lead to Grant being right. Jesse, man, if they have an actual competition, Jimmy's going to win because the locker room is just sees everything through Jimmy-colored glasses. Jimmy color. It's a color. The main threat says those positions can be filled with free agent starters with Jimmy money's off the books. Just cut him. Money more important than picks at this point. I still think they could get a 3rd-round pick probably. That the Colts are just being like, they really think they're going to get our 2nd-round pick? No. But when they come to their senses, we'll trade him a 3rd. Otherwise, we'll just trade a 2nd for Baker. My bad, Kirby Joseph safety. Check out Jerry and Ely on my mock draft. Scat bag fasted out the draft and got hands. Jakari Robertson, 6'3" deep threat. Hands. Thank you. Maybe they're waiting for an adult wide receiver. Ha 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 ha. Dante Pettis is a free agent. John should be fired. Adam Peters wouldn't do this with Jimmy Garoppolo. What are we doing about our O-line and safety? We can't draft O-line. Bosa has 5th-year option. I don't know, man. I'm with you. Like, enough of John Lynch. Goodbye. Why don't the Niners get rid of him and Jimmy Garoppolo in the same move? Can they trade John Lynch in this trade? Enough of him, man. What does he do here? I don't get it. Enough of John Lynch. He's hurting the team now. I'm telling you, he is a competitor who is focused on winning the trade when he needs to be focused on winning the Super Bowl. And his obsession with this trade is hurting the Niners' chances of winning a Super Bowl. You got to get rid of him. Sorry, John. Eddie D was all about winning. The Yorks all about money. I know it's depressing. And the people who like the Yorks the most always praise him. Like, oh, Parag, this is a team-friendly deal. Actually, it's not that expensive for Charvarius Ward. Who cares? Win the Super Bowl. Go get J.C. Jackson. Don't tell me you got someone slightly worse than J.C. Jackson, but it's team-friendly. I don't want to hear about that. Eddie D got Dion. Who are you going to get? Which Hall of Famer are you going to get in free agency? Just saying. Because he got Dion. Parag is a fraud. He's not an elite cap manager. D Ford contract and Jimmy G contract. Prove that. Thank you. Yeah, where was Parag on those ones? Where was the team-friendly deal on that? I mean, D Ford and Jimmy Garoppolo acquired generational wealth here because Parag couldn't do what he's supposed to do, was protect the organization. Generational wealth for D Ford and Jimmy Garoppolo because Parag is so overrated. Super duper overrated. Draft crush time. Daniel Falele. 6'9", 400 pounds, moves like Sewell, plays right tackle, tosses dudes like Trent Williams. Please look him up. Possible film review with Jack. Yeah, yes, I'll look him up. Daniel Falele. Thank you. We're going to do some film review for sure. We did it last year. The Colts should have been traded for Jimmy Field. Like Irsay is holding it up because he doesn't want to feel like he's getting fleeced. Dude, why would the Colts trade? That would be dumb. Trading 42 for Jimmy Garoppolo would be stupid. They're not stupid. Trade a 3rd-round pick for him? Whatever, fine, whatever. But not the 42. That's almost a 1st-round pick. Hell no. How about that? Hell no.